right, we're going to call the meeting to order. Stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'd like to have a moment of silence for Mike McCauley and for Mrs. Kowalski. Thank you. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Brewer? Here. Trustee Grant?
Here.
Trustee Jones?
Here.
Trustee Tate?
Yes.
Trustee Todd?
Here.
Trustee Zupan?
Here.
I'll entertain a motion to recess into executive session for the discussion of an update of pending litigation matters, collective bargaining, review executive board meetings, real estate, or employment and compensation as needed.
Second.
It was moved by Trustee Jones, second by Trustee Todd. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Brewer?
Yes.
Trustee Grant?
Yes.
Trustee Jones?
Yes.
Trustee Tate?
Yes.
Trustee Todd?
Yes.
Trustee Zupan?
Yes.
Motion is carried. All right, I'll ask for a motion to reconvene.
Second.
Moved by Trustee Zupan, second by Trustee Jones. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Brewer? Here. Trustee Grant? Here. Trustee Jones?
Here.
Trustee Tate? Trustee Todd?
Here.
Trustee Zupan? Yes, here.
Motion is carried. Okay. Item number 4, motion to approve the regular board meeting minutes of 11/14/2017. I'll entertain a motion.
Second.
Moved by Trustee Jones, second by Trustee Todd. Any questions? Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Brewer? No. Trustee Grant? Trustee Jones?
Yes.
Okay, Trustee Tate? I'm sorry, I'm just calling the name. Trustee Tate?
Yes.
Trustee Todd?
Yes.
Trustee Zupan? No.
Motion is carried. I'll entertain a motion to approve the special board meeting minutes of 12/19/2017.
Second.
Moved by Trustee Jones, second by Trustee Todd. Are there any questions? Madam Clerk?
Trustee Grant?
No.
Trustee Jones?
Yes.
Trustee Tate?
No.
Trustee Todd?
Yes.
Trustee Zupan?
No.
Trustee Brewer?
Yes.
Todd?
Mayor votes yes.
Thank you.
Item number 5, public comment. All questions and comments must be directed to the mayor. Each speaker may comment on any matter relating to the business of Sauk. Each speaker is allowed one opportunity to speak, up to 3 minutes, and may not engage in debate. Please state your name and that's it.
Renee Richardson. Mayor, I didn't come here to have no altercations with anybody or say anything. I hope they don't be
Speak up a little bit.
to hurt anybody's feelings, but today I got a phone call. You all send your bills to whoever to collect on tickets or whatever have you. A young lady was nice enough to call me this evening before I came here. And in going over what was given to me, I went to court on a ticket that I had gotten. But let me explain this ticket to you. My neighbor that lives next door to me, my fence was up. He put up a fence. He was charged $50. When I got my stuff, it was $300, okay? That's the ticket that I got, $300. We went to court about it. The judge, the young man that was there, told me all I owed was $150 for whatever, because of the ticket. I came here to pay the ticket. I was gonna pay on the ticket. I didn't know that you all don't take payments like most people do. She said, well, we don't do that. I said, okay. But tonight, the young lady called me from the MSCI, whoever y'all collection people is. She said, ma'am, they sent a ticket in here for $1,291 for a ticket that you saying that was $150. I said, yes, ma'am, that's what I was told. The judge told me $150, but now it's $1,291. She also said that I had tickets for a car. She said I owed $500 and something to that, but the total came to 16 something. I know, and she knows, that the man said 150 that day that we were sitting in court. But how you send in a ticket for $1,291, I am not understanding one way or another. Today is not a good day for me, not at all. I have death on my plate and I'm dealing with it. But to tell me that somebody here from Sauk Village would send in a ticket for $1,291 knowing that I only owed $150. But when I went in to talk to the lady to pay the bill, she said, ma'am, they put $300 in here for you, the young lady that works here. And I found out tonight that she's a part-time worker. And I explained to her, I said, ma'am, that's not what I was charged. She said, well, ma'am, that's what was put in here for you for $300. So that tells me, I mean, I'm a hell of a worker too. I worked for the state of Illinois for 33 years. I worked for DCFS for 2 years. I worked 35 years and I was a damn good worker. Now, if this is the kind of stuff that goes on here in Sauk Village, I understand what people are saying. This is not directed at you by any means. But something needs to change. First of all, you need to stay off my property, out of my backyard.
1 minute.
Stay out of my property, stay off my property, out my backyard. Because if you saw a car in my yard, it was not parked out front, it was in my backyard. I'm right off 394. And I understand you can see whatever you can see, but to go in my backyard, to write me tickets for things that I am doing on my own, I don't need nobody to tell me to clean up a house that I didn't purchase. I'm doing everything that I can to make it look better on that end of town. But to do what they doing, I'm not gonna roll with it. I'm gonna tell you this. You can believe me or not. This man here can run my name and you'll see what type of person I was. I'm not gonna take it off of some crap that's going on now. Stay out of my yard, stay out my backyard, and we'll be all good. Because that's why the fence was put, it was not, it was a fence already there. It was already there. My fence was just falling down and I replaced it. I didn't dig no holes or nothing, but I got a ticket for $300.
Okay, well, what I can tell you is I'll research it tomorrow. I have your name, and I'm sure we can find your ticket, or through the name is Renee Richardson, correct? Okay. And you have my number, so I'll find out what I can. Ma'am, I'm just hearing this today from you for the first time, so I have no idea of what it is, but like I stated, I will research it tomorrow. Yes.
My name is Linda Washington, and I'm here today on behalf of Sauk Village Citizens for Informative Dialogue with some questions that residents have been calling and coming to the meeting just asking. And I'm here today hoping that I can give some answers to some concerns residents have. First of all, I want to tell the Neighborhood Watch evidently we was doing a good job, because I see where there's going to be a meeting for the businesses in the village sponsored by the Economic Development Director to bring all the businesses together to discuss what it would take to make their businesses better and to congratulate them on what they're doing. Neighborhood Watch, we did that for 3 years while I was in office. So to continue with that under a different name, just like Neighborhood Watch under a new name, Public Safety, is very interesting to me. Evidently we were doing something good. But I also want to say some residents are concerned because I understand that they're bringing an establishment to the village. It's going to be another restaurant, a chicken place, and a fish place. And I'm just wondering why was that maybe the only consideration when we already have Popeyes here, we have Sharks, fish and chicken here, who businesses are not booming, where they have lines around the building to bring in another chicken and fish place. I'm just saying a lot of people are really into eating healthy, and some of the residents say I wish that maybe they would have considered maybe bringing a Jimmy John's in or a Mr. Subway in since Subway left, a sandwich place where we could go and get something healthy to eat. So I'm just hoping that if you all have some other discussion to let businesses come in, you would try to have a variety for the residents to shop in Sauk Village. Also, I'm concerned that we have this, I just want to know if all of the trustees were informed that an employee, Mr. Raul, we were told salary was cut by $8,000. I'm just really hoping and praying that that is not true. And if all the trustees voted to do that, to cut his salary, for whatever reason, I mean, I couldn't imagine going into my job one day and my check with children in college and my livelihood, my check is cut by $8,000. When I see people that's doing stuff all day long, they need to be fired and terminated. Let's not have their check cut. This man has a master's degree in what he does. He's been with Sauk Village for a long time. I mean, where's the empathy? I'm just hoping that somebody talked to him, and whatever the situation was, that a decision was made to cut his check, because there have been trustees that didn't get paid for having committee meetings. And that was only $125, and there was an issue. So to cut somebody's livelihood that's married with kids in college, that has a master's degree, that's been here through the thick and the thin, $8,000, where is the empathy, trustees? You all voted to do this with this man's salary. Also, finally, I just want to let you all know that we do meet the second Monday of every month, and it's open dialogue for all the entities in the village. And did you say 1 minute? It's open to all the entities in the village to come and to address questions that people have. I have my own foundation now, the Dr. Linda Washington Foundation. I received my honorary doctorate degree in divinity, and because I am not allowed to have programs in the village, passing out book bags and doing things that I feel the community needs, under my own foundation with my new formed board of directors, we will be doing some things, not only in Sauk Village, but in the entire South Suburb, and you'll be hearing about it, and all of you are invited to donate and to participate with it. Finally, when I was a trustee, all of my receipts was put up on Facebook about money that we collected on the corner by tagging, or we had private or public donations given to raise 500 book bags. There's so much money being spent and there's no receipts being shown. I'm here that trustees don't know about money that's being shown. That's what trustees are there for. I remember trustees telling the mayor, we're up here, we're trustees, but you are making the dictatorship decision to do things on your own without telling us as trustees, why are we here? So if you trustees don't know what's going on and you don't know about money that's coming in and out, you're not doing what you were elected to do.
I'll only respond on personnel. We do not discuss personnel in public.
I know that.
But you asked for that.
I wanted you to think about it.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, Heidi Harkin, Sauk Village. Mr. Mayor, I understand that tonight on the agenda,
I can't hear you.
I understand that tonight on the agenda, the board is to approve the appointment of Dr. Schroeder on union negotiations. Can you hear me now?
No, 1 second. Is it on?
We'll try it now.
Okay, I understand that Dr. Stott is on the agenda tonight to be approved by the board for union negotiations. I believe that allocations for HR services ended in July. However, Ms. Strotter has been submitting invoices ever since. Neither the $85 an hourly rate nor the duties have been approved by the board. As these invoices show, Ms. Strotter is also charging the village for duties which are outside of HR services, such as directing the mayor's secretary in duties that the secretary should have knowledge of, such as going over student staff duties, writing memos, and setting up files, rewriting the contract of the cleaning service, directing the mayor's secretary in organizing and purchases for the youth party. What happened to the volunteers? Charges for mediating between the village clerk and the mayor. Charges for meeting with the mayor's wife. Charges for keeping an eye on the village in the mayor's absence. Mr. Mayor, it's on you. Mr. Mayor, please explain why Ms. Carter's contact has not been brought before the board for approval. And I definitely would like to know more about keeping an eye on the village in your absence. Thank you.
I only understood half of what you said, but what I wrote down, because it was going back and forth, I don't know if he's moving the mic. But as far as HR was in the budget, so that part, I don't know who told you whatever, the board voted on the budget. HR services were part of the budget that we had, so.
The budget ended in June.
The budget started, the budget, we're not gonna go back and forth now. The budget started in June, is when we approved the budget. So, the budget started in June. And it was approved for the budget year, for their salary for that amount. Now, as far as those other allocations, I really didn't hear some of the things you said, someone took my place or something to that effect, or she met with my wife or whatever the case may be. I don't understand the question for that, and I really.
Charging for that?
No, I don't know where, that's what I'm trying to say, I don't know where that came from, but.
It's on her invoice.
Miss Parker.
I'm just
The
telling
first
you, it's
thing
on
I
her invoice.
stated when I said public comment that we're not gonna go into debate, that's what we're doing now. Because I'm saying something, you're saying something, I'm saying something, you're saying something.
It's on.
That's a piece of paper that someone generated. I understand that. I'm not questioning that. I'm trying to answer your question as far as HR, as far as her or Ms. Strouder being part of HR and how she's getting paid. That was a budgeted item. I'm bringing to the board now for negotiations because we are going into negotiations with the police department right now. So I need somebody to do that at that rate, or we can vote for double the rate and let the lawyers do it. That's a decision the board. I'm sorry. I'm through.
I would like
Thank you very
I would
much.
like you to answer the last question.
I'm through, because I'm not gonna go back and forth now. Everybody else that comes up here understands that I'm not gonna go back and forth.
How's she watching the village in your absence?
Half the people that's in here in the village when I'm not here.
She's charging for watching the village while
And we're not going back and forth, Ms. Parker. Thank you.
James Harkin. I come in, I was about a few minutes late. And I noticed there's no more information on the back table.
There's no who?
No more information. I didn't get no agenda. I don't,
Well,
there's no accounts payable.
Okay.
So maybe the next meeting, maybe y'all can have enough for everybody
Okay.
from this point on. And Trustee Takes, it's good to see you back. Thank you.
Last week, my name is Frank Harper. Last week, my wife came to the meeting, and she came and she sit. And you all were back in the executive meeting. I'm kind of concerned about that because it seemed to me that you all could come and meet 45 minutes before 7 o'clock and discuss some executive stuff. To have citizens to come out and sit and wait sometime almost an hour for you all to leave the executive session and then come back and it's only 10 minutes and you go home. It doesn't make sense. I think it would be good to put on the agenda for you all to vote on whether or not y'all can do something like that because it's ridiculous.
Okay, there's no more As far as executive session, Mr. Harvey, we only have executive session when the board meets and when we have the opening of a board meeting. So if we had the board meeting start at 6:30, if we have an executive session, it would still be the same thing. You would still have to wait until after the executive session is over.
So we can come and stuff. I'm saying, why can't you all start have the executive meeting before the 7 o'clock?
All right, thank you. Report of officers. The mayor's report. I have a few announcements, then I have my State of the Village address that I'm going to read today. First announcement is the Sam's Club. Sam's Club will be here Tuesday, next Tuesday here for Sam's Club. They can do so, and some of the things that they're promoting. I think is that for the $45 membership, they're giving out $10 gift cards, free pizza, free rotisserie chicken, chocolate chunk cookies, and $140 instant savings. So you can be here at Village Hall next Tuesday from 10 a.m. to 2. And I just wanted to thank everybody that was involved in the procession, and particularly our Assistant Chief Myers, in the tribute to our former member, Mike McCauley, that came out Sunday for the procession, and I'd like to thank all those that came out Saturday for the wake, and also assisted his family. And I don't know how many people knew him as much, but I'm sure everybody on the board and a lot of other people did. He was a fine gentleman, and he served Sauk Village very well in different capacities. So I just wanted to thank the people that came out and that helped out. The ones that I know of, it was Assistant Chief Myers, it was Al Vavrick, Gary Bell, Mr. Gary Bell, from he was on the procession on Sunday, and the rest of the fire department that was there. We see our our captain is here, and then they have anyone from the police department. So I'd just like to say thanks to for those people that actually came out, and Public Works. They were if you saw at the beginning, they led the procession. Just want to say thank you guys very much. Now, just wanted to give a stewardship of the year that this administration has been in, and just want to say good evening, everyone, and thank you for attending our board meeting tonight. I am very humble and proud to serve as your mayor and to present you my first State of the Village address. I would like to introduce and thank our Village Board trustees for their dedication and service to the people of Sauk Village, which include Trustee Cecil Tates, Trustee Calvin Jones, Trustee Roger Grant, Trustee Linda Todd, Trustee Bernice Brewer, and Trustee Beth Zupan. I am proud to introduce our hard-working and committed members of my administration. The Village of Sauk Village depends on their professional skills and drive to provide the best possible service to the residents in the community. And I also like, and I don't know why I didn't put that on there, but that's my fault. But I do want to say that I wholeheartedly thank my village clerk, Marla Campbell Pruitt, for the hard work that she does behind the scenes and, unselfishness that she does do. I also like to thank our village trustee and Director of Finance, Director Mohan Rao, Director of Economic Development, Mr. Wizawati, Director of Public Works, Kevin Weller, Director of Community Development, Sherry Jasinski, our Police Chief, Robert Kowalski, our Fire Chief, Alice Staufragan, and the Director of EMA, Emergency Services, Ms. Alan Vavrick. I also want to thank the employees of the Village of Sauk Village who collectively are on the forefront of providing services to our residents 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They recognize the needs of our residents. Some of them volunteer in our community outside of their normal work hours, so thank you all for all that you do. I would also want to thank those members who volunteer in the various committees, and commissions. You are all important link between our residents and the village board. You help us develop policies and programs that affect the village and our residents and our business community. Last, but certainly not least, I would like to thank my wife, Juanita, for her support and dedication. This 2018 Sauk Village State of the Address highlights both our challenges and accomplishments of 2017 and our proposed plans for 2018 as addressed in Sauk Village's new strategic plan for progress. This year, we're focused on implementing the pathway to progress for Sauk Village. A refreshing start to 2018 with energy and drive for the future of our community. I am proud to say that we are very optimistic about the state of our village. Since the 2017 general election, my new administration has been working very hard to identify these challenges that hamper the forward progress of Sauk Village. To date, we have initiated the following. Our strategic plan for progress, I'm very pleased that the village board approved my plan and we have adopted it to fit our strategic goals. Affecting new policies and procedures to improve our various daily operations, identifying crucial job duties and documenting their purpose and process, reviewing and revisiting our employees' job descriptions to coincide with industry standards and attaching corresponding performance expectations so that everyone has a clear understanding of what is needed from each person. Centralizing personnel files to protect the privacy of each employee and reducing the risk and their subsequent need to be compensated via lawsuits. I want to personally thank our Human Resource Director for executing the needed changes. Implemented weekly executive staff meetings so that the village department heads can report on the progress they made on the agreed upon goals set by us collectively. Reviewing and evaluating the village's finances, financial process and policies are being revised and overhauled to gain efficiencies and transparencies of village transactions and to be able to accurately apprise the success of our projected budget versus year-over-year actuals, so that we may be able to invoke cost-saving measures immediately. I want to thank our Budget and Finance Committee, Village Finance Director, and our new Village Treasurer for enacting these much-needed changes. We, as Village, must learn to do much more with a lot less. Worked on collaboratively with Cook County to remove dead trees along Sauk Trail. While we acknowledge dead trees are a major issue for village residents, we promise to do more as more resources become available. Working collaboratively with Bloom Township, we were able to employ summer help to assist the village. We plan on doing this so again coming year. We were also able to hire part-time summer workers to help cut the high grasses and weeds at the abandoned properties. We created a new position for an economic development. To date, Sauk Village has taken inventory and has even discovered unclaimed commercial property owned by the village. This information will be used to help market these properties. It will be used to showcase our available properties to potential investors and commercial developers. We also already successfully secured a grant that will allow Sauk Village to revise this nearly 20-year-old outdated document. We also anticipate closing on the sale of land the village owns in the upcoming months. These economic development initiatives implemented under this administration thus far will result in a gain of $1.6 million and an investment in the village of about $6 million so far. These new approaches are designed to attain the desired goals and to ensure action is only taken based on information as opposed to business as usual, past practices, personal preferences, or special interest groups or allegiance. So where we are as a village and want the changes were proper changes made above. We came into office with a mandate of the people to get us on a pathway to progress, to obtain results without some old game of politics. As stated, our immediate needs must be forced on the following. Establish leadership. The administration observed there was a clear lack of leadership in village operations. The lack of efficiency by which we utilize our employees in identifying personnel issues that have led to the excessive lawsuits. These deficiencies affect the village bottom line budget and ability to meet residents' basic needs and services. Finances. Even though this new administration was able to push a budget within 30 days of taking office to meet the state's deadline, we also knew of the overwhelming outstanding vendor debt and the decreases in property tax revenue. Decreases in the revenues collections of outstanding water bills and code violation fines, coupled with increases in the cost of wages, benefits, and other compensations. With $1 million in revenue shortfalls looming, words like consolidations, realignments, duties, and operation efficiencies will be very common in this year's budgetary process. Risk management, union contracts, and pension funding obligations. Again, this administration has identified certain deficiencies that must be addressed immediately. Economic development, along with the village's declining tax base, we were also losing our businesses. There is no uniformity of how we address these needs of our businesses and residential communities. There was no one person available on a full-time basis to outline these deficiencies. Also, the lack of an updated comprehensive plan was glaring apparent when new business ventures were encountered. As the national economy improves, so shall we expect the same for Sauk Village. But we must be proactive in our governing to ensure we are ready to participate in the nation's economic recovery. We must have shovel-ready projects in the queue and ready to go as government funding becomes available. A bright spot for Sauk Village in 2017 was that Sauk Village saw the biggest increase in home sales in 10 years. Home prices increased by 30% last year over 2016. We still have much to do to get back to the highs that we had in 2007, but we will keep up the hard work we started in 2017. We will focus on in 2018. We will continue to focus our effort on cleaning up Sauk Village. We had the dead trees removed from along Sauk Trail, which were eyesores for years. We will continue our efforts to remove dead trees along the parkways throughout the village. We had our public works summer help keeping the grass mowed in the vacant homes. We will continue our efforts to keep vacant homes maintained. But most importantly, we have begun an initiative to establish a vacant home registry. This will help the village maintain and manage vacant homes and get those abandoned homes sold and filled with homeowners. We established standing committees of the village board that allow our trustees the opportunities to get involved more closely with the functions of village governing and policy making. In 2018, I will begin to challenge our trustees in providing the village board with more guidance and more input on the assignments for which these committees were assigned to focus. In 2018, we are committed to improving communications with our residents and business, and will be focused on our administration. We will disseminate a newsletter as well as via other media avenues that will be issued more frequently to keep everyone informed and provide them with useful, up-to-date information of what's going on in Sauk Village. We face many challenges ahead in 2018 and beyond, but we will set aside politics and focus on what matters. Sauk Village will begin to make solid advances toward our pathway to progress. I'm confident that with the continued support of the residents of Sauk Village, we can achieve the greatness for Sauk Village. I thank you for coming out tonight. God bless you, and God bless our village. Okay, reports from village clerk, Ms. Margaret.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. To comply with the Illinois Governmental Ethics Act, the following information is needed from each of you for the initial filing of the Statement of Economic Interest. This was mentioned about a week or so ago, and some of you have responded favorably. I've not heard from others. However, know that they send me an email every day reminding me that I have to go online and file your information. They want your name, your home address, your home phone, your home email, and this is applicable to Mayor Burgess, Trustee Brewer, Trustee Jones, Trustee Tates, and Trustee Zupan, and I'm just really hopeful that I will have that information in my email tomorrow or either on my desk. I would greatly appreciate it. Now, I attended a school board meeting last night, and then we had a partnership meeting last week. And each instance, they truly complimented our police chief. And I just thought that I need to share that with you, because he has been in the schools working with their staff, with their safety programs, and providing training. They've been looking at active shooters training for the school staff in any other way that they can to keep our children safe. So I wanted to share that with you because I heard it twice this week, and I greatly appreciate it, and I think that the board and everyone else appreciate the fact that you're not just here, but you're all throughout the village. Thank you. The last thing I want to do is to give an apology, and I apologize for running short of accounts payables and agendas tonight. I generally, if you see me looking around, I'm really counting. I count how many people come to our meetings every week. And I usually put it in the minutes as well. When I first started, I was making 45 copies of everything, and I would end up throwing 25 to 30 of them away. And that's a whole lot of paper. So based on the number of people that I can usually count that's in the audience, I started making 16 copies. And that's what I made today. And today now we have 22 people here. So it's a hard call. It's a very hard call when you don't have to be here the way we have to be here, and the attendance is, somewhat inconsistent, but I'll try to do better without wasting a whole lot of paper in the copier. So please forgive me. That completes my report.
Thank you. Village Engineer, Mr. Jim Zarni.
Thank you, Mayor. First of all, I participated in a conference call several weeks ago with the MWRD and the engineer for the proposed development at 394 and Sauk Trail. I expect to receive final engineering plans soon that REL will review. And then secondly, we submitted final engineering documents on the 223rd and Cornell Avenue reconstruction project to IDOT for their review. Keep in mind that the IDOT review process is long. When the documents are approved, we expect that the project letting will occur in June with a construction start in the summer. That concludes my report. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Okay, reports of departments. Finance and Administration Director Mohan Rao.
Thank you, Mayor and the board.
Okay. Fire Department, Captain Sinewick.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Over the period from January 5th through January 18th, the fire department responded to 25 calls. We had 10 fire alarms, 1 vehicle accident, 3 mutual aid assist, 8 ambulance assist, 1 CO alarm, 1 odor investigation, and 1 gas leak. The fire department would like to thank everyone for all the goodies that they dropped off at the station during the holidays. Most of us don't need those calories, but everybody did enjoy them. The weather is warming up, but be careful. There's still black ice and regular ice on the roads. Be sure to wash your hands often to avoid getting sick. This concludes my report. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Police Department Chief Robert Kowalski.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, trustees. For the period between January 9th and January 23rd, the police department received 447 calls for service with 7 arrests. A few cases of interest. On January 14th, officers responded to an armed robbery at the Marathon. The offender displayed a handgun and demanded money from an elderly victim. The offender fled on foot from the scene. The victim was very shaken up, of course, but was not physically harmed. The investigators are retrieving video from cameras in the area to try to identify the offender, and this matter is now in the hands of our investigators. And sadly, on January 14th, an 8-week-old infant died while sleeping with her mother. This is the second such incident we've had in the past 3 months. This matter is also being looked into by investigations. Now, I know this is early, but we will again have the DEA prescription drug drop-off. The quarterly DEA prescription drug drop-off will be held again on April 28th at the police department between 8 a.m. and 3 p.m. We will be asking that anyone who would like to dispose of their unwanted prescription drugs feel free to use this opportunity to do so. I will be reporting this at all the board meetings just as a reminder. So when you leave here, if you know of a neighbor or a friend, they don't have to be residents of Sauk Village. They could be in some of the south suburbs. They could come and drop their prescription drugs off too. I am happy to announce that as of our last drug drop-off, we had over 100 pounds of prescription drugs that we've collected so far, just here in Sauk Village. Lastly, the Northeast Multi-Regional Training Board I was recently selected to be on the Policy and Procedure Board for the directors of that Northeast Multi-Regional Training Board, which is known as NEMRT. NEMRT provides in-service training to law enforcement and correction personnel throughout the metropolitan Chicagoland area in accordance with the Illinois Law Enforcement Training and Standards Board, which is governed by the state of Illinois. It's truly an honor to be selected to this board and an opportunity to represent South Suburban Chiefs on this board. That's the end of my report.
Thank you. Emergency Management Agency Director, Alan Vavra.
Thank you, Mayor and Board. The only thing I have is I want to publicly thank the fire department, the police department, our ESTA department, and I also want to put out a special thank you to the South Chicago Heights Police Department and Dyer, Indiana Police Department. I'm going to be sending them letters of thank you for the procession of Mike McCauley. They did an outstanding job assisting us with the traffic detail. That concludes my report, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Public Works Director Kevin Weller.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a few items. The weather has warmed up a little bit here. It looks like we're going to go into a little roller coaster here towards the beginning of our new season here. But in the last 2 weeks, staff has repaired a couple water main breaks. Three in this year already. We have also did 2 water main upgrades. 2222 Shirley main replacement, about 18 feet of the main. And then 22157 Merrill, which was a valve replacement, and also about 15 feet of water main. Staff also had 1 snow event in the last week and a half that we had dealt with. We're asking residents to remember it's easier for us to plow the streets when there's nobody on them. That means don't park your cars in the street, don't blow the snow back into the street, or you will be ticketed. It just helps us get along and gets everything cleaned up. Also, staff has been working on vehicles during these events. We have some older vehicles, so we're doing a lot of repairs. We have some hydraulic hoses on some trucks, plow bolt frame. We had some plow bolts we had to replace as a normal event. We did have a couple welds and a couple of our plows break, so we have to replace a couple parts. One of our trucks had a fuel tank leak, which we have to replace, minimal stuff of that nature. We also sent a couple pieces of our equipment off, which is a yearly event. One of them is our lift truck for street lighting and tree removals. That lift truck is back and it's certified. We still have a few minor little things that have to be sent off, but at this time we're using the vehicle. Our sewer jetter also, if a resident ever has a sewer complaint or a sewer problem in their house, they should call the village hall first before calling a plumber. Let the village come out to check and make sure the sanitary mains are down so that if it is our problem, we can take care of it. But our sewer jetter is back. It was off to the service for some valve work. It is back and working properly. Staff has also been called during the cold event, and sometime with the thaw now, we've had a lot of houses that had frozen pipes in them, and when the pipes have thawed now, everything is starting to leak. Over the cold weather, we've had multiple houses calling in to be shut off, plus some vacancies, some unattended houses, and we still are ongoing with that. So if you do see water running up a house, just call the village hall or the police department after hours, and they will notify Public Works to come out and shut the water off or to find out what the problem is. We also started our Southside Shutoff list of, containing about 218 homes on that. As of to date, it is completed as of today. Staff also is working on V-box, jets, and digs and leaks. These are items that ongoing when we go to a house to shut the water off. Sometimes the valves or the boxes that they have shifted or the trees have grown and pushed the box over. So for residents and for rehabbers or homeowners that need to do repairs, we are working on those, also including the leaks, because a lot of these times we come to a house that hasn't been touched in 40 years and the box has to be shut off, so it sometimes ends up in digging it up to do that. Due to the weather changing now, we also, when it warms up here, this is when the street is going to start to buckle and cause a lot of potholes. So as you're driving down the road, you'll notice there will be some that'll open up, and the warmer it gets, with the ground being soft, it will open them up more. We will be out patching those up temporarily for the season, and as springtime comes, we will use more permanent patch material. This year so far, as of to date, we've only used roughly about 120 tons of salt. We normally order in a year about 400 or 500 tons of salt, depending on the season. The last 3 years have been very mild. So at this point right now, we've ordered only 100 ton of our 300 ton allotment, so we have plenty of salt on hand. Hopefully we won't have any weather to use it on. And I'm just going to give a couple little pieces of information, end of the year reporting. I know there was a question asked by a trustee 2 weeks ago about main breaks. 2017 rain breaks. Every year for the last 3 years, our main breaks have been declining due to some weather conditions and hopefully due to some of the work we're doing. But as of today, we had 22 calls in 2017 for main breaks. Within those 22 calls, we fixed 28 water main breaks. So there was multiple breaks in a couple of the holes. They were repaired. Within that, we did 6 upgrades. So sections of main that are damaged with multiple clamps on them, or sections we just cannot clamp near a bell or to connecting points, we have to replace water main. So those were, when we do a replacement of that nature, we will do a boil order in a section of town. It only affects the residents that are on those lines, so every other resident should not have to worry. They all will receive a notice of the boil order and a lift when it is lifted. And then last sewer calls totaling for the year, we had 32 sewer calls for the year. This is what I was talking about. If a resident ever has a call, you can call the village. We will check the main. Out of those 32 calls, 14 of them needed to be jetted, and the rest were just residential internal issues. And last, we did have a program, and we still have an ongoing program with a sewer line saver program, utility services. It's a very good program. It started off to be, so if you have a regular sewer problem in your house, you can get the number from the front desk. You call them up. It's like an insurance policy against your sewer. If you ever have a problem, you call them. They send a plumber out, and if they determine in some ways that they can't open or fix your sewer, your complaint by rotting it, they will also pay up to a certain dollar amount to repair or dig down to the problem. So it is a very good program if you have an ongoing problem. If you don't have any issues with sewer lines, it might not be something you were interested in. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Willard. Our Community Development Director, Sherry Jasinski.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Code has issued a total of 55 junk auto letters to residents. 23 vehicles have been removed and the remainder are receiving tickets. 30 letters were sent out last week in regards to campers and boats being stored in driveways and backyards, along with a copy of the zoning ordinance that is being violated. The due date to have them removed or in compliance is May 30th, 2018. An additional 8 lien letters went out last week, giving the water account holders 14 days to pay their delinquent water bill in full, or a lien will be placed. We continue to write tickets on semis, village stickers, parking, and housing violations, and we're writing tickets for the chicken truck that's still on Sauk Trail He has a lot of tickets and a lot of fines. And just for the record, we do not go on anybody's property. If a violation or ordinance is being broke, we can see it from the street or the highway. The tickets are written that way, and I would be happy to look into Mrs. Richardson's complaints and find out exactly what went on with her tickets. We do so many tickets, I don't know offhand for that individual. So I'll be happy to look into that and report back to you tomorrow, and that concludes my report.
Okay, could you get a copy of those numbers to the clerk so she can include those numbers in her?
I emailed you and the clerk my report.
Okay.
And if I forgot, I'll email it in the morning.
Thank you. Okay, reports from the trustees and standing committees. Public Service Committee, Trustee Bernice Brewer.
No report.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't read the bottom. Okay, Economic. Y'all ready to go? Economic Development Director report. Mr. Joseph Wiswhite.
I was actually okay with that, Mr. Mayor, but I do have a brief report tonight. I'm pleased to report that we will be having a mandatory meeting, pre-bid meeting scheduled for next week with the Chicago Metropolitan Agency for Planning and the consultants who will be bidding on the project for the comprehensive plan, obviously. The request for the proposals will be led by CMAP, and once all the bills are bills are in, we will interview each of the prospective bidders, and with the interview process, then we'll go through a final determination and recommendation to the CMAP board, who will ultimately approve the contract.
Excuse me.
Yes.
Could you all go outside? I know Chief is popular, so could you all go outside? Thank you.
We expect the bids to come in under $200,000, with CMAP covering about 95% of the total, and that Sauk Village was awarded the grant as part of the local technical assistance that they did for last year. As you know, the comprehensive plan hasn't been updated since 1999. I'm also pleased to report that Cook County is providing funding for some engineering for rail access to the Logistics Center. Actually, since I've done my report, I actually got an update on this. We were waiting on some information to come back from the CN Railroad in terms of the requirements for the rail spur extension. We have gotten that and passed it on to the members of the Cook County contacts, and they're working on that. Additionally, Cook County has agreed to cover the cost of an environmental phase 1 study and geotechnical work that the village needs on the property that we own, and we'd obviously like to sell in the Logistics Center. The total for this work would be about $35,000. Just for the board's information, the property that the village owns that we're looking to do this work on is just south of Warehouse Specialties, which is on Mark Collins Drive. Right before you go after you make the left turn into Winpack Way, it's right on that corner. Just a little bit north, there's a little parcel there. So just to give you some perspective on that. The board has before it tonight for consideration and approval the village's first economic development incentive policy. This policy spells out the process by which businesses will request future economic development incentives from the village and an objective way in which requests will be reviewed. Also, the village's newly redesigned business license application is online. Me and Mr. Rao will be working on a couple changes to the water thing on there, and that'll be used going forward. Finally, I'd like to wish Trustee Tates a very happy birthday tomorrow, sir. And also a belated birthday to our Fire Chief, Alan Stopper. That concludes my report.
Thank you. Budget and Finance Committee, Trustee Roderick Grant.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Last week, we did not meet because we had a few cancellations for the committee. So we will pick up tomorrow at 7 o'clock here in the Rotunda. Also, this is the beginning of the new year, and hopefully within the next month, we will start working on next year's budget. So I look forward to working with Mohan and the new treasurer, and hopefully we have something in the trustees' hands by March or early April-ish, so we can get something back for the new fiscal year starts. And that concludes my report.
Thank you.
She said no report.
Parks and Recreation and Youth Services, Trustee Calvin Jones. She said she had a report. I did her before I did it. I have to go back to
Monday, Wednesdays, and Friday at the community center, the gym side, there's basketball from 3 to 6. We are always looking for volunteers. We need volunteers for growth. We would like to implement other programs at that time, but we would need more bodies and more eyes to watch out for the youth. Our Parks and Recs Committee meeting will be February 1st, 2018, 7 p.m. here in the Rotunda. This Saturday, open gym, 27th, from 11 to 2 p.m. at the gym. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Trustee Jones. Housing and Intergovernmental Relations Committee, Trustee Tate. Ordinance and Review Committee, Trustee Linda Todd.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Ordinance Review Committee will meet here January 25th, this Thursday, at 6:30 p.m. here in the Rotunda. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Public Safety Committee, Trustee Beth Zupan.
Thank you. The Public Safety Committee meeting is next going to assemble on Wednesday, February 7th, 6 p.m. here at Village Hall in the Rotunda. All who wish to participate are welcome to join us again, 6 p.m. Thank you.
Okay. Beautification Committee, Chairman, Trustee Linda Todd.
I have no report at this time.
Senior Advisory Council Committee, Trustee Emmett Farmer. I'm sorry, did I say trustee? I'm sorry, Chairman. Sorry, Trustee.
Thank you, Mayor, and the board. Just want to give you all first copies of our calendar. I know you requested to let you know what was going on at the senior center. Now, our secretary actually made up the calendar, and if it's kind of not clear as to some of the events, like we know that on the second and fourth Friday, helping our people elevate, I think she got helping people or something like that, helping our people elevate, with Jillian Cowlin is doing that second and fourth Friday every month. And then on that first Tuesday is Sauk Village for Informative Dialogue with Ms. Linda Washington. She's doing that every second Tuesday of the month, so that's on there.
That's on the first Monday.
It's on Monday, second.
I'm sorry, second Monday.
Second Monday. Second Monday.
Second Monday. I'm sorry, second Monday of the month. Not Tuesday. That's a Tuesday. I'm sorry. Second Monday of every month. So, you know, if there's any others that's not clear on there, please let us know. Also, we want to let you all know that that any event, of course, that the village is having, you don't need to actually, have have anything, written down or anything submitted to us. But we would actually, if you do, village event does take priority over a lot of other events. So we would like you all to please let us know in advance when you have it. So if we do have something scheduled, that we can kind of rearrange it, or it won't conflict, or whatever the case may be. But anything the village have of course is priority, and they really don't need to fill out any applications and need to get into the senior center. Chief Kowalski told me they can't come over to the police department. They can get keys to come to the village if they have application and event scheduled. If they come to get a key, he said that they must be on the list. So please let me know that you're gonna, anyone that's gonna be on there, you have to be on the list. Anybody want to get keys, got to be on the list. And they're gonna need to also leave their driver's license or some form of ID with the police department. And that will be returned to them on when they give the keys back to the village. But they can pick up the keys now from the police department. When they return them to the police department, then they'll get their ID or driver's license back. Okay, and I think that's pretty much it. Only thing we do, I think I mentioned the Sauk Village information and the helping people, but also we got the Cedar, and Cedar's done one meeting there, and that was I think yesterday at 9 a.m. They're coming back on the 29th, which is next Monday at 9 a.m. And then February they have 2 meetings scheduled, February 12th and February 26th. Both of them, again, at 9 a.m. to noon. That Cedar will be here, and they'll be here helping, of course, the seniors and others get, help with their electric and gas and things like that. Social Security, disability benefits, and things like that. They're here to help people, especially our seniors. They got priority, but we understand anyone can really apply or participate, but we're really stressing our seniors. And hopefully in February we'll start adding up. We do got our next meeting, the second Thursday of February, and we will actually be attempting to get some more programs, some more groups in the senior center, and some more programs, some more events such as trips. We got health fair hopefully coming up on the 4th Thursday of February, starting, and then everyone after. So hopefully that'll get started also. So thank you all.
I just have one question. Is there a way you could, because this is about the end of, this will be our last meeting for this month. So if you have a new calendar, could you leave it at Village Hall, we can disseminate it to the trustees?
Okay.
For February.
For February?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I got the question. When leaving the key or picking up the key at the police station, far as someone renting out the senior center, that's normally on a Saturday or a Sunday, correct?
Yeah.
You may want to let them know that it may be a time and a period where there may not be anyone at the police station. There's times that there isn't anyone there. So it may be, they may have to wait a few minutes until someone get there, or you may have to find other alternatives to that.
Wow, yeah, that's something we didn't know. I think that's one reason that Chief Kowalski wanted us to give a list, like you said, if anyone was renting or anyone that was going to use it and need the keys, to make sure we let him know in advance and, you know, give him a list. I guess that's to make sure hopefully someone's there or whatever the case may be, but if not, I guess the alternative is, you know, someone that does have keys, you know, because some of our committee members, such as myself, we do have keys and we can, if we have to, come let the, you know, people in the center. Okay? Thank you, Trustee. Anyone else?
My question for you, Mr. Mayor, is who would I talk to about adding on the CETA information to the water bills? Because we have 2 events coming up in February, and it might be a good idea, because I mean, it went so well on Monday that if we get the word out more, I think it would be, we had like close to 35, 40 people. So if we could put it on the water bill, you know, I'm understanding you can put that little phrase on there, CETA, whatever date it is. You know?
Okay, we can look into that, because, you know, as you know, water bills go out every other month. Mm-hmm. North side 1 month, south side the other month. So we can look at that and see if we can have something. Probably it has to be for 2 months in order to get it hold up.
Okay, who would I talk to about that?
I just listen to you, so I'm going to find out the logistics in doing that.
Oh.
Thank you all. Any more questions?
I think Trustee.
I was just going to ask how the CETA event went yesterday, since this was their first time here. How many people, how well organized was it? How successful and how smoothly, or how many bumps you felt there were, that kind of just a post-mortem, if you will.
Well, so happened, I was actually out of town, so I wasn't able to make the first event. But as Trustee Brewer pretty much made it. So I just got back in town this morning. So, Trustee Brewer?
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, may I ask
Sure.
Savant's question? Well, yesterday, on Monday, you know, it went very well. What I had to do is, when the people come to pay their water bill, I said, did you read about the CETA? Gave them a flyer, you know, they walked in. A lot of them did it that way. A lot of people didn't know, a lot of people did know, because it's on the marquee. But, you know, Dr. Stanberry said that he will be out there next week, and, you know, as people come in, just let them know that CETA is here. And next week on the 29th, they're got a program for free phones, so you guys might want to talk to people around in the neighborhood if they want to come and apply for free phones and other programs that we're looking into, you know. So, but it was real successful.
On that note, I got there, it was about over, and I asked Dr. Stanberry about it. He said 12 people actually signed up, so, and that's a good thing. I told him that, you know, once the word gets out, he had a staff there. He had a staff of people there. So he may want to increase it once people find out, because I know we used to, well, this region used to have CETA in Chicago Heights, and I remember one time we had a satellite office, and we had to take numbers. And so it's once the word gets out, it's going to be, but there's the reason that the different times is because different types of people come, because there's different types of programs. Every time they come out, one particular time may be for phone or telephones, another time may be for your bills, your utility bill. So they help in certain times, they help in certain ways at certain times. It's not always the same. So it behooves anyone to come out and find out when that particular timing is, just like the Board of Appeals. Same thing, they have a certain time that they have deadline that they have, and see that it works the same way. So you can get help with certain things at certain times, but I think most times you get help with utilities. But with other things, as far as repairs on your homes, the seniors, depending on how you qualify, you get more more help. I can tell you now, if you want a freeze, you'll get a lot more help because your salary and everything, you fit a certain criteria. The same thing, basically, when you get free lunches and things in the school system, that right there puts you in a bracket that you get, qualified much better, so. But it's different times, but it's good, it behooves, and I'll try to see what I can do as far as disseminating and get it out.
Yeah. Are we doing any email blasts?
Pardon me? We're gonna, that's what I was gonna say, we're gonna try to get that on email too, but, and if necessary, you may have to get in touch with you so you can get the clerk's email address, so when you get something, you can put it out there that way too.
Right, I won't create it, you have to create it and give it to me.
Yes, ma'am, will do. Thank you all.
All right. Unfinished business. I'll accept the motion to approve the development incentive policy.
So moved. So moved.
Moved by Trustee Grant, second by Trustee Jones. Any questions?
Question, Mr. Mayor. Is this economic development incentive policy, is this the first of kind? First of the kind? You didn't, is this not a revised or update from last time? Or is this the first of the kind?
Sure.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, the policy that you have before you was revised from the previous version with the correction that Trustee Zupan, which was going from may to shall.
Well, okay, the one that Trustee Zupan wanted some corrections to, that was the original, but was that the...
That's been updated and that's...
From old policy?
No, there was never...
There was never a policy.
The village never had a policy.
Brand new.
Right.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Madam Clerk?
Trustee Jones?
Yes.
Trustee Tate?
Yes.
Trustee Todd?
Yes.
Trustee Zupan?
Yes.
Trustee Brewer?
Yes.
Trustee Grant?
Yes.
Motion carried. On the new business, I'll accept the motion to approve accounts payable and disbursements that was dated January 23rd, 2018 in the amount of $417,912.26 and per Sauk Village policy, and also to remove or to borrow money from the CN fund in the amount of $41,000 to make this payout possible.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Trustee Grant, second by Trustee Jones. Any questions?
You said, Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
You said we are borrowing $41,000 from the CNN fund?
CN. Yes.
Noise Mitigation Fund?
Yes.
To rephrase that to do what?
In order to pay, we're $41,000 short to pay the, as aforementioned, the amount for the disbursement.
Payroll?
For the disbursements for the $417,000 that you have in the disbursements, the accounts payable, and the accounts payable, we're short $41,000.
Okay, short. I got a question.
Can I ask a quick question while you're looking at that?
Sure.
Should we expect
the
41,000 back anytime soon? Sorry.
Pardon me?
Do we expect the 41,000?
Soon as, yes, that has to go ASAP. That's the first thing that we have to take care of once we get our money coming in. Yes, absolutely, because it's a restricted fund. So we're obligated to do that. So that's something that has to be done. And Mohan knows that when we get our money in from different sales tax or whatever, we have to pay that back. That's an obligated fund. Any other questions?
Mr. Mayor, just a quick comment. I noticed that we did an immediate check. However, I just want to point out that technically it wasn't an immediate check because it wasn't an expense. But Mohan, next time, if you could just make a note on the accounts payable saying that, it's not an expenditure for us, so that way it doesn't seem like, we missed an email or anything like that. Thank you.
You have a question?
Question?
Yes.
Mr. Mayor, I appreciate dividing the salary payrolls of Mr. Mohan, and that gives us a great idea of how much we're paying employees, and I really thank you from dividing that. However, on this accounts payable, we still have the Owens Group we paying for HR consulting, and then we go back and pay Dr. Alicia again for HR services. understand that. My last question is to you, is TIP 4 down here has 161,000. Is that, that's MFT funds, right?
No.
These are TIP funds? This is the TIP funds? So we paying that out too? Upgrade deal. Oh, okay.
That was the portion that came out for the drive in front of Winpack.
But that's the one for Baxter and Woodman, right?
Well, they were just the engineers on it, but yeah.
Right. Well, okay. Well, then again, I'm still objecting.
And as far as what you're looking at, one is for HR, as we stated before, and the other one is for negotiation. So yes, she does both.
And Mr. Mayor, last.
Did you get her resume? You got that, right?
Yeah, I got a resume, but her resume does not have a employment history in there. And I asked last week for written legal guidance on if she's going to be working 2 jobs and getting paid by us, for 2 jobs. So
she's doing 2 separate things. She's doing 2 separate things.
But I never got the legal guidance from the attorney, so I'd like to have that in the record, and give me a copy of the written guidance on how we're able to pay her for 2 jobs, and she has never been brought before the board. So her salary or anything, we haven't even talked about any of that stuff. So my question is to you, when are we going to get the written legal guidance for this?
I don't understand what you mean by legal guidance.
I mean, the attorneys must know, I'm sorry, the attorneys must know that for an employee to be working.
She's not an employee.
For a person to be working for the Owens Group, getting paid by the Owens Group, and then we turn around and pay her for consulting. So to me, that's still double dipping, and I don't know. I just wanted some written guidance. I asked for that before, so I wish you could talk to the attorneys and find out if this is legal. Because we don't want to get into trouble.
What do you mean by legal? It's not. Why would we be doing so? How is that illegal to have a person?
I don't know if it's illegal. That's my question. I'm trying to say.
Illegal. Why would there be an illegal act if you have a person that does the HR, which we never had before, to do it in this instance that we're doing it?
Mr. Mayor.
You're not gonna let me finish, right?
Well.
Okay. Go ahead.
Mr. Mayor.
Go ahead.
The HR allocation was ended in July. Okay, it's according to Dr. Strada's invoices.
I don't understand.
Mr. Mayor, I haven't given up the floor.
But you're making statements that's unfounded.
Point of error.
You can't call me point of order. I don't
point of order. Okay.
You can't do that to me. I don't understand why you do that, because that's not.
Point of order,
you cannot do that to the chair. The chair emanates
well,
that.
You shouldn't be interrupting me every 5 minutes.
Okay.
And let me get my thought out, and then I guess you could counteract it.
Really?
So, yeah. But anyway, Mr. Mayor, Dr. Strada is being paid for HR services and also union negotiation. We also paying the ON groups for HR consulting, which ended in July. This information was not brought before the board. We did not discuss bringing Dr. Strada on board for $85 an hour, nor what she's doing for Owens Group either. So she has a desk back there, and not only that, we got her resume, but it doesn't have employment history on it, and we don't have a job description, which we have asked you for many a times. So it seems like to me something's not right here, and I really like some written legal guidance on it, because, we really need to know what we're doing up here.
Any other questions? Madam Clerk, please call the roll. Because this is for the accounts payable.
Trustee Tate?
Yes.
Trustee Todd?
Yes.
Trustee Zupan?
Yes.
Trustee Brewer?
No.
Trustee Grant?
Yes.
Trustee
Trustee Jones?
No.
Motion's carried. B, item B, a motion to engage Dr. Straughter as a consultant to conduct negotiations for collective bargaining. I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
It was moved by trustee Zupan, second by trustee Tate. Any questions?
Question, Mr. Mr. Mayor, I want to restate my objections. We have a resume from Dr. Straughter that does not show her employment history. We don't have a job description, nor has a salary remark for this board, so we could discuss her salary. Personnel, but we could talk about money and her objections. So it seemed like to me that we doing something to clean up wasn't quite right from the beginning. Dr. Straughter does not have a resume with an employment history. She does not have a job description. The contract was never, her at-will contract was never brought before the board, so we did not discuss her salary. Even though it's in the budget, it's hidden behind everybody else's salary. So we don't know how much she was paid or how much she's gonna get paid. And that's my objection, that's my comment.
Okay, I don't know how you, anyway, my answer to that is, we did discuss this last week, and we have two alternatives. One, to use Dr. Straughter at $85 an hour to do the negotiations. Or two, use the lawyers at $170 an hour to do the negotiations. But someone has to start the negotiations now, because the contract is due in April, and this is January, and I'm not gonna wait till April to start ratifying and go through this contract. It's a lengthy contract. So you can vote yes, I appreciate your comment, and duly noted, but you can, there's two things, that's why we have two things on the agenda. You can vote yes for this one, or no for this one, and yes for the other one, but we have to do one or two things.
Okay, can I have wait a minute, I could talk on the subject twice, and this is on
Ms. Trustee.
What?
We had a meeting last week about protocol.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems that you must have didn't either adhere to it or you didn't care about it. But to keep blurting out back and forth, to me, I'm not gonna recognize that. However, if you do, like we talked about last week, is to address the chairman during the meeting, to have no problem with that. But we're not having, this is something that is part of protocol. I know you're a new trustee, and I'm sure you should have talked to the trustees that have been on the board for a minute to let them find out from them, but that's not how we conduct business. We don't go back and forth willy-nilly, and whatever you feel that you want to say at whatever time it may be. You should address the chair, and this is what we talked about. Now, what is it that the next question that you have?
Mr. Mayor, this is not a question, this is a comment. We paid the Orange Group for HR consulting, $116 an hour. We paid Dr. Straughter for HR consulting, plus the union contract, which is $85. I don't know if she's getting the $116 too. Plus we pay the attorneys. So I don't see how that's causing the attorneys, we paying so much for the attorney, we need to cut out this middleman, you know, because the attorneys have to look at anything that she produced. So this is not safe, this is not a cost initiative project. It seems to me that we're paying her money for something the lawyers have to do anyway. So that's the end of that comment.
Well, you have the choice to do one or two things. You can vote it up or vote it down. I explained to you last week, I explained to you today just now, and if you don't want Dr. Straughter to act as negotiator in the collective bargaining, yes, we definitely have to show the lawyers the final contract. Yes, we do. For them to look at it. But to help prepare and get everything done, we've done that before. And it cost us nearly $28,000 for just a week because they have to go back and forth. So to try to save some money, yes, that's what I did. But It's up to each individual trustee to vote up and down. Any more questions?
Question.
Yes.
The negotiations have already started, correct?
No.
No?
No, all we've had was a session where they presented their proposals, and we're just basically right now, we're trying to prepare what it is we want to counter-propose them with. But as far as the negotiations starting, setting down yet, not yet. They're waiting to hear what we have to say, basically. They gave us a proposal, but that was all it is what they feel, and quite naturally, they want everything, so.
And normally at this time, the lawyers would have been doing?
The lawyers won't get involved until both sides cannot or agree, or we have a finished product and say, okay, this is what we like to present to them. Right now, it hasn't happened yet. We haven't done that.
That's all I have.
Any other questions? Madam Clerk?
Trustee Todd?
No.
Trustee Zupan?
Yes.
Trustee Brewer?
No.
Trustee Grant?
Yes.
Trustee Jones?
No.
Trustee Tate?
Yes.
I vote yes. Motion's carried. General comments from the Board of Trustees? No, we don't have to, I'm sorry. C we don't have to do because we took care of it with B. So it doesn't make sense to go to item C. And that's to use the law firm for negotiations and collective bargaining. Because it was passed on the item B.
Mr. Mayor?
Let me go to general comments, and I'm sure that you have something to say, so.
No, I want to do C.
Okay,
I want to ask a question about C.
Yes.
You said motion to secure the village law firm. Which law firm is that?
I haven't gotten to that point yet. If I did get to that point, then we would secure probably, I don't know, right now, I have to bring that before the board, but I didn't have to do that right now, so. I don't have to, right now we have someone that's gonna do it. Once we do that, I'll bring it back to the board, what law firm we would like to get them to, or get involved with this negotiation. Comments from the Board of Trustees. Trustee Todd.
I have nothing at this time, Mayor. Thank you.
Trustee Brewer.
Okay, Mr. Mayor, I want to restate my objections to Dr. Strader being on board because we simply can't afford it. The current balance in the general fund is like $150,000, and the current balance in the water fund is $81,000. We don't have the money to pay these people, and I've seen some of Dr. Strader's invoices. They are astronomical. But my question is to you is, we made payroll this time. How are we going to make payroll next time? And what are we going to do to cut back? There's not enough money in the water fund. You cannot run this town on revenue you get from the water fund, which we have been trying to do. I would like to know, what is the plan? You know, we just don't have the money.
So we don't negotiate. We don't have a contract for the police department. We just wait until we get some money, or whatever the time may be, until you feel it is right for us to start negotiations with the police department and move forward from there. And as far as the money from the water department and using that, that's been going on since before me and anyone else ever took office. That's something that's been going on, but has it been paid back? You can see that answer. That's why we're $2-point-some million in the hole.
My question is...
This is not, I'm going to reiterate, I'm sorry, but I have to go there. This is not going to be a free-for-all meeting. I'm going to respect each and every one of you. Everyone that walks in that door, I'm going to respect. If you have a time to speak, we have public comment. But every time I say something or someone else says something, we have a sidebar. I will stop and let you finish what it is you want to talk about, and then we will proceed with the meeting. But to go back and forth trying to compete with what someone is saying, and someone is in the audience trying to hear what the board is trying to say, and they can't hear it because things are happening behind them and they can't hear what's going on, I will stop every single time to allow you to do whatever it is you want to do, then we can move forward with the board and the meeting. That's what board meeting, we're here to discuss business. We're here to discuss the future of this board, or the future of this village. Yes, the money is hard. Yes, it is. Nobody said that we had just mentioned that we have money that we don't and not getting from taxes. With $700,000 that we didn't get this year that we got last year. We're trying to work on that. We're trying to make that happen. But when we have people that's in the audience that feel they want to have their own agenda, I would ask you, please, get up and go out and talk in the hallway, have you talk what you want and say what you have to say. But I will stop every time you disrupt the meeting. Trustee, as far as what you're saying, I mean, you can give me a suggestion, what you feel, how we can have negotiations or go forth with negotiations. And if you want to use the lawyers, okay, you made that plain that you'd be willing to pay twice as much as what we're asking someone to put this together. For that itself to be a cost initiative is something that I'm looking at right now, because you're right, we don't have the money to go out and do other things. We don't have the money to get the Cadillac or whatever. We have somebody that is qualified. And I stated to you and all the trustees, not just you, her qualification. But I'm not going to sit here and discuss them in open board meeting, because that's a personnel issue, that's a person's private issue. But you know her qualifications. You know you had questions, you had time to ask questions. You hear every single, whatever days you come, her door is open, my door is open. But we want to discuss this out here, that's no problem with it. So.
Okay, Mr. Mayor. Okay,
Are you?
No, I'm not finished. Mr. Mayor, last week, I just said I asked for legal guidance for how vendors are being paid, and that now have been approved by board. I'm asking for that information again. Secondly, we talked about the $250,000 that was taken out of the TIF fund, and it was taken out of the TIF fund, but we used the water fund to pay the TIF back. So my question is to you, and you said this was a drawdown, but if it was a drawdown, Mr. Mayor, why would we have to take $250,000 from the water fund and pay the TIF back? Something's wrong with that scenario. So, I mean, this is stuff we talked about, and it's just not sitting, you know. I just don't understand how, if it's a drawdown, why we have to take water fund money and pay back the TIF. Because it's not a drawdown. So, it seems like we borrowed the money from the TIF. And we took the water fund money to pay it back. Those are the, in response to FOIA requests. That's what it looks like. So now you're going to tell me something different. Now again, I want to reiterate, we don't have the money for all these extra things. I have never known, and I've been on that side of the aisle, for the water fund to be this small. Every time we turn around, we're going into the water fund. We got to find some kind of alternatives on how to use the water fund. We got to talk about some kind of cost savings initiatives or cutbacks or something. I'm just putting the elephant out there in the room. We can't afford all this stuff. And it's ridiculous to try to every week to pay, borrow from Peter to pay Paul, because we just don't have the money. Mr. Mohan, I want to ask Mr. Mohan a question.
After the meeting? Or
okay, well, then I can ask you. Now,
this is comments and questions.
Well, I mean, I want you to consider this. I would like you to consider this.
Go ahead.
Okay. Now, we have $81,000 in the water fund. What are we waiting for? Are we waiting on taxes or something to come in? Or is there something coming up or something? Some large pot of money that generally the trustees don't know about?
I don't understand your question. Because if there's a pot of money coming up, I don't know about it.
Okay.
So if I was that psychic, there would be a lot of different things, but I don't understand your question. Is there money coming up that the trustees don't know about? I don't know about money coming. If I knew about money coming up, I know we get money in. I said first money in, we would take care of the restricted fund we took the money out of. That's what I stated. I didn't say there was money coming in. We have money coming in all the time, as you should know. If not, then the whole village hall, the whole village would be shut down if we didn't have anything coming in. But I'm operating on a deficit of $700,000. I didn't lay off one person yet. Everybody got their check. So right now, I'm trying to deal with that, trying to make something and get development in here so we can move forward. Not to say that something may not happen. As you, I don't know if you listened or not, in my speech, I said there's going to be some changes. And I made mention of some of the things that we got to change. Yes, we do. We keep doing the same thing over and over and over and expecting a different result. It's stupid. And we're not going to continue to keep doing that. We have obligations that we have to have that were here long before I got here, that are still here now. We have lawsuits that we still have. We have money that we have to pay out, but we have to deal with all that. I knew that going in as mayor, but I knew that I had a plan to make it happen. But okay, fine, you have questions, I will answer your questions. But I will not sit here and waste the taxpayers' money or time to go back and forth and debate. My office is open every day. I'm not here every other time, I'm here all the time. You can ask those questions. And you have come in there, and I have explained them to you. Why are you doing it now? I understand, but that's okay, I can take that too.
Okay. Mr. Mayor, my last comment is that, you don't give answers in the back, you don't give them up here either. But next thing I want to talk about is that President mentioned the finance director's salary. It never came before the board. We don't know anything about it. We talked about it. It never came to the board.
Wait a minute, you said that it didn't come before the board?
It did not come to the board. We talked about it in the back, yes.
But
it was already done.
Was in the back the board?
It was already done before we got in there. It was already done. Trustees didn't have anything to say about that. It was already done.
They shouldn't have.
A lot of things. Well, we're not going to have to go back and forth. Right, because I got the floor and I'm talking.
I know that, but obviously the trustee doesn't know that.
Apparently the mayor don't either.
Well, I'm just since now
Trustee Tate. Trustee Jones.
Yeah, I'm curious about, I heard about a restaurant that you get. I didn't know nothing about it. If anyone know any information about the restaurant that's coming, I haven't heard anything about a chicken place or something. Okay, I just haven't heard anything. That's all I was asking. And I don't know if I missed an email or anything about Mike Macaulay. About his funeral services and arrangements, anything. I don't know. I had no idea, none whatsoever. That's it. If it was passed out or not, I have.
No, it wasn't that I know if I didn't see anything. I was told word of mouth too, so I didn't see anything passed out. And as far as the restaurants, only one I know of that's opening or changing hands is where Washington Square is located, and I'm not sure what the name of that's going to be. I just talked to that gentleman the other day, so I didn't say anything about it because I don't even know the name. of the restaurant. And as far as that other, what you're talking about, I just saw that name up there as far as chicken, but what's going in there, I even asked Sherry, they have not applied for anything. That's the reason why I haven't said it. So I don't know if they're, what Trustee Zupan.
Thank you, Mayor. I have a few things. First, I wanted to let the clerk know that I did send you your requested information earlier today, so it should already be in your inbox. Secondly, I want to touch on the fact that we don't seem to know who's going into the area formerly occupied by Subway. I would ask that we consider changing ordinance, policy, procedure, whatever it takes, so that any time a business leaves and a new one goes in, that we have to get a new occupancy permit. And you know, they're coming in at the last minute for a business permit and the signs are up and the lights are lit. Because I know last week I saw neon lights on, as I think you did too. So I would ask that you have, between the economic development director and the community development group, that they please get together and figure that out and pull in whoever they need to, and I'm happy to volunteer to help if that's what it takes. Then lastly, I just want to let everyone know my position on Dr. Strouder. I've been in corporate America for over 30 years, and let me just say that yes, your HR people do contract negotiations when you're in a union environment. That is standard practice in corporate America. The other thing I want to say though too is contract negotiations are not an extra unnecessary item. It's something we have to do. And while money is extremely tight here, we have to do contract negotiations with our union employees. Otherwise, we're going to find that we don't have those employees and doors will shut very quickly. And that's why I voted the way I did this evening. And that's the end of my comments. Thank you.
Trustee Grant.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. First, I want to say that I do agree with Trustee Zupan about the businesses coming in. Is there any kind of way that, you know, Sherry does mention how many tickets she wrote, but any kind of, hey, we have this new person apply for a license, this one leave. I mean, just like similar to what she said, that would be nice to add that to her report. Second, a couple of residents did ask me about the garbage schedule, so I did ask the village clerk if she can create a new garbage schedule for 2018, and so that way we know what days that they are and are not picking up, and then switching with the recycling as well. And that concludes my report. That's all I have.
Thank you. I'm not going to hold it. I'm not going to do it anymore. I just want to say one point of observation. I don't know. I became mayor for all the people in this village. You may not like me, you may not, but I'm not here for popularity. I'm here to take care of business. And sometimes business is tough. Sometimes decisions are tough to make, but they have to be made. Sometimes things are done, but they have to be done. Everybody makes mistakes. My mistake was one that I didn't inform the trustees in one aspect of one thing, and I did inform them at a later date. But I'm not here I can't please everyone, nor am I able to try to please everyone. But I'm here to be fair to everyone. I'm here to make sure that this village thrives, that we move forward, that we have an economic base so we can attract more residents so we can get more tax money. Simple as that. It's very simple. Those are the things that we have to do as a village. I'm sure you want to live in an environment where you feel that there's mobility, upward mobility, and progress, and have a future, not just status quo. People don't like change. People fight against change, but change is good. Because without change, you don't go anywhere. So all I can say is the people will keep you on your toes. Will I agree with everything that's being said? No. Will they agree with everything that I'm going to say? No. But I will treat each and every person, as I said before, with respect. And I'm going to get and demand my respect. With that being said, I'd like to take I entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
It's moved by Trustee Brewer, second by Trustee Jones. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.